Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Bold in the Beautiful Thursday, October 24 recap. Ivy scores ally against Steffi Eric's new Houseguests. The Bold in the Beautiful B&B. Spoilers recap for Thursday, October 24, reveals that Hope Logan, Annika Noel, new Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline Messins wouldn't be on board with Carter Walton's Lawrence St. Victor vision for Forrester Creations, but she insisted Ridge Forrester, Thorsten K. would listen. Carter wondered if Hope was suggesting he should go over Steffi's head, but Hope just wanted him to turn to Ridge as a friend and tell him all his game-changing plans. However, Carter admitted he'd pitched expansion ideas before and got shut down. Hope thought maybe Carter was being too nice about how he presented things, and added that his voice mattered as COO. Hope urged Carter to call a meeting to speak with Steffi and Ridge, which would give them a chance to see a leader with a strong vision for the future of the company. As Hope touched Carter's face tenderly, he smiled over her support and belief in him. Elsewhere, Will Spencer Crumaro told Zendy Forrester Dominguez de Metz about his encounter with Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, though he didn't get her last name. Zenda didn't know anyone named Electra and had to take off after Steffi summoned him. That left Will alone to daydream about his first Electra introduction, so he looked smitten. In the CEO office on Thursday's B&B episode, Steffi told Ridge the buyers were dropping like flies since they didn't have faith in Hope's line anymore. As Steffi offered updates on Ivy Forrester's Ashley Brewer visit with Electra, she said Carter wanted to revamp the jewelry line to help promote Hope for the future. Steffi insisted she said no and rattled off a bunch of reasons why it wasn't the right time to revive the jewelry line like Carter wanted. Now that Carter was fighting so hard for Hope for the future, Steffi admitted she was concerned about him. At the Forrester mansion, Eric Forrester, John McCook, was delighted to reunite with Ivy and Electra. Ivy admitted they were in town to reboot the jewelry line, but she didn't think it was going to be a possibility because of Steffi. Once Eric heard the news about Steffi standing in the way, he offered to talk to her since he still had some clout at the company. Eric liked the idea of the revived jewelry line and pointed out that his name was still on the building. Ivy didn't want Steffi to think they were going over her head, but Eric didn't see it that way and valued Carter's opinion. As for where Ivy and Electra should stay while they were in Le, Eric pushed them to stay at the Forrester mansion since it was their home too. Back at Forrester Creations, Zenda joined Steffi and Ridge in the CEO office. Although Zenda was working around the clock to steer Hope for the future in the right direction, Steffi insisted the line wasn't where it needed to be. After Hope and Carter arrived, Steffi talked about some of the buyers bailing. Now Steffi thought they'd either have to cut funding or cut Hope's line completely. Hope started to protest, but Carter piped up and began his pitch about a bigger, better vision for Forrester Creations. Carter pushed Ridge and Steffi to hear him out since this was something he'd been planning for months. After Carter shared that he wanted to expand beyond the fashion world, he said they could make that happen through mergers and acquisitions. Carter wanted to acquire other companies that fit with their luxury brand and do something on a grand scale. Hope smiled over Carter's enthusiastic pitch, while Ridge at least looked interested in hearing more about his Forrester predictions. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Steffi will do her best to pump the brakes soon enough, so stay tuned for more drama. In the October 24 episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, intrigue and shifting alliances take center stage as Ivy works her charm to secure a formidable ally against Steffi, while Eric's home opens to unexpected new guests, stirring curiosity and speculation. Let's dive into the whirlwind of confrontations, suspicions, and surprising friendships forming around the Forrester mansion. As the episode begins, Ivy is strategizing her next move. For some time, she has had her suspicions about Steffi's intentions and her knack for manipulation. Determined to assert herself within Forrester Creations, Ivy decides to take a bold approach to cement an alliance that might give her a leg up against Steffi. She knows that taking on Steffi alone would be an uphill battle, so she sets her sights on someone she believes could add power to her corner. Liam. Liam has always had a soft spot for Ivy. They share a connection that is both professional and personal, as they've always been able to rely on one another during turbulent times. While Ivy is mindful not to rekindle any dormant feelings, she understands that her friendship with Liam can be instrumental. She meets him at the Forrester offices and, with a bit of encouragement, manages to strike up a heart-to-heart conversation about Steffi. "Ivy, are you sure about this?" Liam asks, concern evident in his tone. He's always been wary of getting dragged into Forrester family drama, yet he senses Ivy's conviction. "Yes, Liam," Ivy replies, her eyes steely. "I know you've been reluctant to go against her, but Steffi's influence over the company is spiraling out of control. We need someone who can put an end to it, or at least keep her ambitions in check." Liam hesitates, but he trusts Ivy's instincts and agrees to at least consider her proposal. Ivy's careful persuasion has done the trick, and she feels a surge of satisfaction as she sees that her words have planted a seed of doubt in Liam's mind. Meanwhile, back at the Forrester mansion, Eric is caught off guard by a knock at his door. When he opens it, he's met with the sight of Quinn and Wyatt, who are holding suitcases. Both seem nervous, as if they've shown up uninvited, which technically they have. Eric is surprised, but doesn't let it show. "Eric, we know this is a little unexpected," Quinn begins, her voice faltering, "but we were wondering if we could stay here for a while." Eric, being the ever-gracious host and more than a little sympathetic to Quinn and Wyatt, invites them in. He senses that something must have prompted this sudden visit, and he's curious to hear what's behind it. Once they're settled, Quinn explains the situation. Tensions between her and her recent partner had escalated, and she found herself seeking solace with Wyatt. They'd both felt a strong urge to return to their roots and to family, especially given how disconnected things had felt recently. Eric nods with understanding, not pressing further but acknowledging the unspoken issues likely causing the friction. As the day progresses, Ivy finds herself in a perfect position. With Liam now showing signs of support, she takes it one step further and reaches out to another potential ally, Forrester. Ally has had her own fair share of grievances with Steffi, and her loyalty to Ivy has always run deep. The two have a meeting where Ivy candidly opens up about her vision for Forrester Creations. "Ivy, you know I've never been Steffi's biggest fan," Ally says, her voice laced with frustration. "The way she runs things, everything is always about her. She doesn't care about anyone else's ideas or contributions." "Exactly," Ivy replies, encouraged by Ally's candor. "Which is why we need to support each other. We've got a chance to reshape the direction this company is heading in, and with your help, I know we can succeed." Ally nods firmly, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Together, she and Ivy pledge to stand up to Steffi's often overbearing influence and bring a fresh perspective to the company. Across town, Steffi catches wind of Ivy's budding alliances. Suspicion mounts in her mind as she realizes that Ivy is up to something. Her instincts tell her that Ivy is no longer content to play the supportive team member. Instead, Ivy's actions signal a desire for power. Determined not to let her guard down, Steffi decides to confront Ivy directly. Their confrontation takes place in Steffi's office, the tension palpable as soon as Ivy steps in. Steffi wastes no time in getting to the point. "Ivy, I know you've been having meetings," Steffi says coolly, her gaze sharp. "And I have to wonder, are these little get-togethers somehow related to your interest in my position?" Ivy stands her ground, meeting Steffi's challenging look with a defiant smile. I'm committed to what's best for Forrester, Steffi. And if that means discussing ideas with people who want the same, then yes, I'll do that. Unnerved but not defeated, Steffi realizes that Ivy isn't easily intimidated. Though she still holds the upper hand in terms of power, Ivy's growing network of allies could become a threat. Steffi vows to keep a close watch on her every move. Back at the Forrester mansion, Quinn and Wyatt begin settling in. Eric's hospitality is appreciated, but Quinn can't shake the feeling that there's an elephant in the room, namely her strained relationship with Eric after the recent rocky events in her life. Wyatt notices his mother's discomfort and reassures her. "Mom, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. We're here because family sticks together. Eric wouldn't have taken us in if he didn't care." Quinn nods, trying to convince herself that Wyatt is right. But there's more than mere tension troubling her. She's also uneasy about Steffi's sudden rise within the company and her influence over Eric. Quinn feels that if Steffi continues unchecked, she could pull Eric further away from her and even undermine her place in his life entirely. That night, as Eric and Quinn share a quiet dinner in the mansion's luxurious dining room, Quinn voices her concerns. She delicately mentions Steffi's ambition and how it's affecting the family dynamics. "Eric, I just worry that Steffi is trying to take everything over. She's always been determined, but I've never seen her quite like this," she says, choosing her words carefully. Eric listens thoughtfully, his brow furrowing slightly. Though he doesn't express it aloud, he's had his own reservations about Steffi's recent behavior. He appreciates Quinn's candidness and, in his own quiet way, assures her that he values her place in his life and won't allow anyone, even his granddaughter, to come between them. As the episode comes to a close, several chess pieces have shifted, setting the stage for the next chapter in Forrester family drama. Ivy has successfully brought both Liam and Ally into her circle, strengthening her position against Steffi. Meanwhile, Steffi, now aware of Ivy's intentions, is preparing to counter any attempts to undermine her authority. And at the Forrester mansion, Quinn, buoyed by Eric's support, finds comfort in the knowledge that she has family by her side as she faces an uncertain future. With alliances forming and tensions simmering, The Bold and the Beautiful leaves viewers on the edge of their seats, wondering who will emerge victorious in the Forrester power struggle and what unexpected twists lie ahead.